Welcome to the University Park Improvement District recorded meeting records. The board tried to delete these from the internet, claiming it cost too much to keep them saved on Zoom, so now they are here uploaded for free on YouTube. Meet the board members: James Slaymaker, the lying hypocrite; Joanne Zahner, who joined the board because she was upset her neighbor had more cars than her; and Sarah Dole, who agrees with them that it should be illegal for women to be topless.
All right, it's after 7. Let's get the meeting started. Are you recording? All right. So it's University Park Board meeting on May 14th, 7 o'clock, clubhouse here. So this meeting is called to order. Board members present are Sarah Dahl, James Slaymaker, and Joanne Zahner. Notice all attendants will need to state their first and last name on the sign-in sheet or have their first and last name displayed on the Zoom meetings. This is for proper record keeping of the UP public meetings. If your first and last name is not displayed properly on the Zoom, you can provide it in the chat or speak it aloud in the start of the meeting. If your first and last name have not been recorded by 15 minutes at the start of the meeting, you will be removed from the Zoom. This applies to all future University Park meetings. Another notice here: viewer discretion is advised. To adhere to proper record keeping, the audio and visual recordings will stay active throughout all Zoom meetings. The camera, audio, and recording features will not be disabled at any future meetings. So this meeting is being recorded, included both live and Zoom audiences for future reference. Please stand and state your name before speaking. Be brief, on target, and to the point. Keep comments to under 5 minutes. Be respectful of the board and other community members. Audience will have the opportunity to take part in discussion of agenda items in order that they appear on the agenda. So before we get started, does the audience have any comments at this time? Nope. Any comments on Zoom?
No comments online.
All right. Let's see. Introductions, announcements, presentations, and thanks. Thanks to all those who came out for the Firewise workday on April 13th. Over 30 adults and children turned up to help. We got a lot done and had a great time working together. And then we asked to have a new community member. Welcome new community members at 11312 Rimrock. Ryan and Angela Nye, Nye. So that's the house that has the large dog kennel. It's like an old, it's like a fake faux log cabin. It's kind of one story, and they have to the south of the house there is a dog kennel, like a 8-foot high fence or over a whole lot. So anyway, that's where they are. It used to be an Airbnb, and those folks bought it. Richard Soash met them and gave us their information.
Yeah, do we have their email address for notes?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, he sent it. I have to give him, get to you later.
Okay.
Okay. Also want to thank Don Turner. He's not here. He burned the burn pile for us, so that was very helpful. So we're going to approval of the both April meeting minutes and April financial report. So any comments from the board on those two items? Any comments from the community in the room? Comments online?
No comments online.
Any additional comments? Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the April meeting minutes and the April financial report.
I second.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carries. Both April meeting minutes and April financial report are approved. Okay, standing reports. Boat ramp, John Cassidy. John?
It's ready to float, so the repairs are all completed to it. At this point, I just want to report I did report to the board, but just the community in general. The wood on the boat dock itself, the main dock, is seeing much better days, and probably within the next, I'd say 2 to 4 years, we'll probably need a budget for replacing that. Several of the boards, I've replaced a couple of boards, but there were still more boards that had rot in them. So that's something we just need a budget for in the future. Looking forward to putting it in the water as soon as the lake and the Corps get together and in terms of the levels and make it safe for us to be able to put it in. But right now, I just checked, and the connection points to put it in are flooded or underwater. So until that gets to a point where we can actually hook it up, that obviously we'd love to have that in before the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see what the lake levels do with the rain and the Corps.
Does it need to come down a foot or 2 feet, or how?
I would say right now it's a little over 3 feet up. I'd say probably when the water's about 2 feet, we could probably look at doing that and we'd probably be able to put it in. But that, I put an asterisk next to that. It all depends on the forecast. If we're at 2 feet, if it's at 2 feet above normal and we could put it in, but there's rain scheduled for the next a week or so, we may not want to do that. I mean, don't want to damage it. So,
And the debris.
and the
That's
debris,
one
and the
thing.
debris, absolutely, yeah. And so, I saw more debris coming into the cove this afternoon as well, so, but, it's good to go, so everything is secured. All the new floats are in place, I will turn in the receipts, thank the board for the reimbursement, all good there.
So you're all caught up financially?
Yeah, it's all good.
So maybe for next month, if we can just get a total on what it costs for the boat dock, just a grand total at the bottom, just so we know where we set on that. So, and you did all the work, you did. So we really appreciate you taking care of that. Thank you.
All right, I will say, when it comes time to put it in, probably use a hand or two to do that, so.
Yeah.
But now both the boat dock and the ramp, the gangway can be hooked up to at least a half ton or bigger truck now, so there's hitches for both of those. So we don't necessarily have to use the tractors.
Oh, okay.
To put them on.
That'll be
So there's new hitches on both, for both of those. You can use the tractor if you want, but now we can use trucks too, so
Okay.
we have options.
Might be worth having it on hand in case there was a problem, at least the first time. Don't use it, but if it's there, we have a problem.
Absolutely, yeah, I would rather not need it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Golf course. Jeff Luna, he's not here. I will postpone that for the next one. Welcome committee, Don Turner.
Susan and Don are online. If you want to unmute.
Are they saying something?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll assume there's nothing new there. Firewise, Carla Slaymaker.
Thank you. Except really appreciated everybody showing up for the workday. It was a great.
Yeah, thank you for coordinating that, Carla.
Very much. Thank you.
And she still needs help if anybody wants to be a part of that. Parts and Rec, Kurt. And Kurt did say that he has no update on that. He's got a family thing going on today. Sherman Township, Tracy Sabo.
No update. Their next meeting, when I had texted them, they want to have it in June, but I don't know if they had one between the February and the June one. I never was alerted, so.
I actually noticed the roads were pretty muddy. I mean, actually mud was coming up through the sand, which is the first time I've seen that on Lakeview anyway, in quite a while. It was just something interesting. I don't know if the other roads are like that too, but on Lakeview, I mean, the mud actually pushed up through the sand and the gravel. So it's been years since we've seen that. Golf course prairie management. I think you're speaking for Laura.
I'm speaking for Laura. So Laura has requested approval to pay Debbie to spray the burn pile on the Old World Blue Stem on the golf course, not to exceed $300. She'd like to spray the burn pile immediately and in June, the golf course, and she'd like approval for that.
And that 300 covers both the immediate
Yes.
and the June.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar with that, we started spraying like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, spraying the Old World Blue Stem on the golf course to try to help manage it. Now we're burning too, is another management tool. And then I think we've been spraying around the burn pile for quite a while, but just to knock down that grass to lessen the opportunity for a fire. So, okay, so any comment from the community on that? Anybody online?
No comments online.
Okay, so is there a motion? I'm sorry, yes, Bob?
On some of this Old World Blue stem, if we would keep some of that mowed, it would take less Roundup and not have to burn as much if you keep that head cut off. But it's gonna have to be mowed twice, every other week.
Yeah, and that's a lot of mowing.
I don't know, I know it is.
Yeah, so what I would offer is that I don't know. Laura, no, I mean, that's what I'll tell you. So Laura is kind of like the grass expert for us. And if she says we need to mow it, then we're gonna mow it. And if she says we can manage it with these other tools, I don't have the experience, to say, to even weigh in on it. I'll do what she says, basically, is what we've decided.
And I know I want to make a comment. She's working with, is it Mike Bowler, the noxious weed guy for Riley County? Mike, does that sound right? Okay. she's been working with him about how to handle it or getting any input from him. And he said he thinks that's the way we're doing it is a great way,
Okay.
but if you want to reach out to Laura, or I could give her a message too and make your comment, she could check into that.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve $300 to Hilltop Ag Services for spraying noxious weed on the golf course and the burn pile area?
I motion to approve the $300 for your spring.
All in favor?
Second. All in
Aye.
Favor, aye.
Aye. Add that note on there.
What is Hilltop Ag Course? Is that the name
Well,
of Debbie's?
That's the name of her company is Hilltop Ag Services.
Okay, thank you.
And that's who we write the check to.
Perfect.
Got
it in here.
Yes,
Well, when you're talking with her, could we get a recommendation from her on what to put on the sand green?
yeah, we can ask if anyone asks. Yes, we'll ask on that. We'll see what she wants to do. I know last year that Kurt was spraying the sand greens. He got into that last year, and he's had some family stuff going on. He has not been out on the course at all this year yet. So you can ask through Laura on that, and then I'll talk to Kurt and see if he has a plan, and maybe, honestly, if we're going to use the same chemical and Kurt's willing to do it,
Right, I just.
but it's a question to
whatever
ask.
she recommended for, so it didn't say. Not drift, but it wouldn't erode off and kill. Over the rest.
Or maybe one time in the year versus multiple times too, so.
And you said spray the what area? I'm sorry.
The greens.
Greens,
golf
thank you.
greens. Let's see, Kurt Frederick, for the equipment. Yes, he's not here. He did just change the oil on the Hustler, and, I will say that I drove the Hustler the other day, and if anyone drives the Hustler, there is a slight problem with neutral, the emergency brake on it. So be thoughtful. We're gonna get it looked at, but it's not exactly always there. So it's not great. I know it's not great. I just saw it the other day when I tried to mow. So it's something I'm making you aware, and it's on our list. Fire build, UP board. Okay, so on the firehouse, I did shoot an update to Riley County, looking for where are we at, trying to find the latest news before the meeting, and I have not received an update. So I'm gonna go back with the last month was Charles and Wilson is working on the title and working on the contract. That's what we got the last month. So I'm gonna go with that for now.
And I did bring up, John, what we heard at our training. I did bring that up, that they're ready to build it. If we would just get this all signed, or whatever contractor is finishing up the other one, and there's nothing we can do though until Clancy.
That's it.
They can
There's-
sign the land lease by now.
Well,
Yeah.
just, John Cassidy, for the record too, we went to fire training last week. They talked about this, and they also mentioned that there were several other firehouses that have a land lease agreement. We are not the first to request this, and it's on record. They've actually got the standard form for doing it. So why one individual is holding this up is a little bit of a mystery, because it is a known and practice that for Riley County.
Right, so keep it in perspective, though. It has been, this has been working on progress for 3 years, so this isn't just yesterday or last year or the year before. This is years of trying to work through this process. So, the ball is in their court. It really is. The ball is in Riley County's court. There's nothing we can do. We have filled out all the paperwork. We have requested as quickly, what do you need? Pushing as hard as we can. In the end, they got to send it to us. So we'll keep you informed. Okay. UP rental management contract. So basically, Randy Taylor's still our primary guy. I have not finished reviewing the contract on the first cut before we send it to the board, and just kind of negotiating with him on the details. So that's another month. Kick the can for a month on that. I mean, we're still getting rent. We're not paying any fees for it. It's all going to the account right now. So there's no loss to the community in the fact that we have not hired a management company yet. You're actually better off. Covenant enforcement update. So at the end of February 13, 2024, the meeting board, let's see, 2024 meeting, the board voted to move forward with the enforcement of the amended covenants of restriction, June 12, 2001. No livestock should be kept upon any lot. specifically the donkey located at Daniel Maple property, 7213 Mound Ridge Road. An executive session was held on April 26, 2024. UPID board members, James Slaymaker, Sarah Dahl, and Joanne Zahner met to discuss covenant enforcement progress. And we did send a notification out for that. So a petition was filed with Riley County Court, and Daniel Maple was served on 7 May 2024. Maple has 21 days to officially respond. So that's where we are. Any comments? Really not a lot to talk about. It's all a legal issue now. So, okay. Any comments online?
No comments online.
All right, moving on. New business. So the Blue Valley Middle School cross country has requested to use the golf course for a meet on October 15th. And if you don't know, they did it last year. And I think it was very successful in the fact that just the number of vehicles and the number of, it was multi-school deal, and there were cars parked up and down the road. They were everywhere. And at the end of the meet, you know, we talked with the, I can't remember the guy, the head guy, was it
Blake, I believe.
Blake? And we had a discussion with him, and right off the bat, we determined that they needed to rent some porta potties. That little old bathroom there cannot handle that flow. That little septic tank can't take it. So we told them then that needed, if they were ever coming back, that they needed to provide, you know, a couple of porta potties. And he acknowledged that. So that would be my first recommendation, or requirement, actually. That would be personally, I would say that is a requirement, that if they do this, they need to provide porta potties. And if they don't or can't, then I don't think we should allow it. I mean, it's just too much. It's too much on the bathroom.
Makes sense.
And then the other deal is there was a potential for an incident with some nudity on that day of that event, you know, going down the middle of the road, and there was, you know, 100 and some parents out there that have never been involved with what's going on out here. And there was a concern. It got managed, and it wasn't a big deal, and it all got taken care of, and it was not a big deal. But I personally think that we need to recommend to Blake and the school district that they need to be thoughtful of the potential for a problem, and they need to discuss with Riley County Police Department or whatever is appropriate for them to make sure they have a plan in place to manage if the situation arises again. That would be my recommendation. So, board, what do you guys think?
I completely agree.
I mean, we can suggest that, yes. I don't know what the likelihood of that following through would be, but as long as they're aware of it and they still want to proceed, then I think that's enough liability passed from us onto them.
Okay, I would say that's acceptable. We make them aware of our concern. We give them a good recommendation. If they choose to not do it or can't do it, that's still their decision in the end. If they want to continue with it after that, it's up to them. Okay, so community input, is there anything in the community here in the room that yay or nay, or did you guys, were any of you around last year when they did that? Did anybody see the crowds and talk to any of the folks that were here? Okay,
It was a really nice event.
It's wonderful.
yeah, that's what I would say. It was very successful. So how about, all-
Did they map their route for their meet, or did we help them with that? Did they kind of use like our turkey trot?
No,
route
they
that
use
they-
their own because they stay on this side of the road, but
Okay.
I was involved kind of, and Joanne was involved with them too, and they just did a spray paint line like we typically
Okay.
would do, and they went kind of out on hole 1 is where they started and stayed on this side for their 2 mile, I think it's a 2 mile course.
Okay, I was gonna say, if they did venture into the neighborhood streets or anything, if
No,
we could
not at-
tell them to stay over here to avoid potential
Yeah, it's
sites.
middle school, so they're trying to stay
Okay.
without crossing any roads.
okay, any input online?
There are no comments online.
James?
Yes.
I just had a question, Tracy Sabo. Was there any like interest, like in using the golf course and stuff like that, that has come to increase like fees, those kind of things from an event like that?
You know, I think there was a discussion last year about, you know, do we charge, but we, you know, it particularly on these folks, you know,
Yeah, not-
community
not
service
for-
and,
But I was wondering if we saw an increase in like our disc golf or the use of the golf course as a result of that.
No, I don't know.
Good point.
I could not say. I'll say that last year I did not, I was, you know, doing the books on it last year, and I didn't see this spike,
Yeah.
you know, from all these new people who, you know, didn't even know we were out here. You know, kind of what you're asking, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't even know we were here and they saw a golf course and all of a sudden, I didn't see a bump
Okay.
in usage. That's what I would say.
I will say we've had 5 non-resident annual memberships for disc golf this year, and last year we only had 2. So, and we're only
That's
in May.
great. I mean, I come home sometimes and I'll see people, I don't know who they are, but they could be residents using the disc golf. And so I just was wondering if those were some of a result of some of that.
Okay, so then I think what we're gonna say is then, is there a motion to approve the Blue Valley Middle School cross-country meet to be held on UP Golf Course on October 15th? As long as they provide porta potty and are aware of the security concerns.
I motion that we approve the event with the stated conditions and terms.
I second it.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Okay, the motion is approved for Blue Valley Middle School cross-country meet to be held on UP Golf Course on October 15th, as long as they provide porta potty and made aware of the security concerns and act appropriately. Okay, next one. So there's a question. Do we want to have University Park wide garage sale? That's it came up, a couple of people were asking about it, so discussion.
I've heard from, I think, 4 or 5 different people that they are interested and would participate in a community garage sale. They're asking when the date is, and obviously we don't have a date set yet.
Yeah, so traditionally, if we do this, is that you kind of overlap it when like the other towns do their garage sale. I don't know what that date is, but generally, you know, because people like travel around, go town to town to town, and they hit all the garage sales. So feel about at the room here. Anybody have input?
When was the last garage sale that Kim ran? Was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
It was 2 years.
And was it,
So we did not do one last year due to low interest. We did one 2 years before, the year before that. But the day ended up being pretty crummy. It was
That's right.
cold and rainy, so there wasn't a great turnout. There was still some. But that was 2 years ago, and then last year we did not have one.
So anybody in this room think we need a garage sale? Anybody want to run the garage sale? So if we're gonna do a garage sale, somebody has to be the main point person. Point man or woman, child, somebody has to be in charge. It's not me. And I'm not sure, because I'm not doing a garage sale. You guys volunteering for it?
I gave away all my stuff.
There you go. How about you, Sarah? You got a garage full of crap.
And I bought Krista's.
Whoever's interested in.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Well, that's, I'm curious. Sarah, are you interested or?
Reach out, I would think some of them should be in charge of coordinating.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we see if we can find somebody that wants to do it? Does anybody remember when that month or that week is? Is it like in May? Is it June?
Early June, I think.
Because what's gonna happen is, you know, if probably before the next meeting, you're gonna need to have the garage sale, you
We
know,
only have one more weekend, and then it's Memorial Weekend, and then it's June.
yeah,
Would we want to do one of those polls like Tracy
I
did?
was gonna ask, I could do that if you want to.
yeah.
Is it
Okay.
quick? We get, and then you also gonna ask, would you like to
Do you want
run
to
it?
coordinate it? Okay.
Just would you
that'd be great.
participate? Do you want to coordinate? A
Yeah.
few questions done.
Yeah.
I think it would be important to include, John asked that, it's important to include, what do you mean coordinate? List of activities and duties expected of the individual that would volunteer for that. You're gonna be more likely to get somebody to volunteer if they know exactly what they're gonna be paid with versus you're in charge.
Good point.
You could get that from Kim Luna, she did it last.
Yeah, it'd be good to get a description of duties. So,
Good point.
in the past, the board has paid for the ad in the local papers, whatever the local papers are. I think we can agree to do that. I don't know what's, it's gonna be less than $50, so.
Yeah.
But we're good on that.
That's,
You know, if we have the garage sale, you know, whoever's gonna run it, let us know the date and we'll take care of that.
Do you want me to make a motion on that?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know how much, you know,
I motion that if a garage sale for University Park is held this summer, that University Park Board will fund the newspaper ad.
second it.
all in favor?
I.
Aye.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll see. So there's additional item that I forgot. I apologize. I didn't get on the deal when I sent it out to you folks. So a new item on the official agenda. So at our last board meeting on April 9th, the Riley County Police were called due to continued verbal disruptions that prevented the meeting from proceeding in an orderly way. So then the police were called. And we are waiting on the county attorney to follow up with the next steps. We will let you know what the answer is and how that will be handled in the future. So just so you're aware, that's how that was handled and that we're kind of waiting, in the future. So anyway, so that's that. There's really no reason for discussion on that. Any other issues or discussion? Anything in the room? Anything online?
No comments online.
Okay,
Dave has a comment.
yep, Dave, Cheesy.
I just looked up on the Leonardville. Their community garage sales are May 31st to June 2nd.
Is that like the weekend, the Memorial weekend? No.
The 25th is, yeah. 24th is a Friday.
It's a weekend after Memorial Day.
Okay, that's good. We'll post that up and see if we can get somebody interested in that. So,
May 31 to June 2nd, right?
I'm sorry, say again?
May
Yes.
31 to June
Yes.
2nd. And we would probably do that Saturday. Is that what you're thinking?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that we're gonna leave the meeting open for an executive session. So is there a motion to leave the meeting open
Alright.
for an executive session to discuss legal matters concerning covenant enforcement?
Yes, I'll make a motion to leave the meeting open for executive session to discuss legal matters concerning covenant enforcements.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This motion is approved to leave the meeting open for executive session to discuss legal matters concerning covenant enforcement. And that is it. Go, yes, Bob.
James, has anybody noticed over across the, on the other side where they had a fire here a couple years ago, how, I don't know if it is, Fish and Game has come in, but they have cleaned up that whole bank.
Yeah, the other side of the code.
And I don't know if we can get the Fish and Game to come in and do this here.
That's actually Core.
Yeah.
Core has hired.
Okay.
Yeah,
either
you know,
one.
heading north, when you go across Fancy Creek Bridge, they're also working on that side. There's a whole bunch of core areas.
Okay,
And Walden Creek area,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where, yeah, that's one of the areas. they
And I
were
mean,
working on.
they cleaned that whole.
Yeah, so I did ask the other day about that and they said they got a grant. There were 4 areas that they got grants to do this, kind of a test to see how it would work. They're hiring contractors. I mean, we're talking bulldozers, excavators, really some big equipment. And then they're doing controlled burns afterwards. And they're doing these 4 areas. So I said, what about, same thing you're talking about, what about down there at the Cove? You know, it's not on the list. Our hope would be that, you know, when they do the test and it's successful, that when they make a next list, that we're on the list. Did they talk to the fire department when they made that list up? Do you know offhand? Did you hear anything
I
about
don't
that?
know if they talked to the part, I don't know
Oh,
if they did.
yeah.
I know that.
Brian's fire department, and Brian's the one that did the grant, so. I don't know how close those two were, but it's Brian.
Yeah,
He's one.
So that would be where the pressure, that'd be where the comments should go, is to Brian McNulty to say, hey, man, next time you're writing grants, let's write one for that's Army Corps property. That's not University Park property we're talking about here. We only control the boat dock, the little gravel area. The rest of it is all Army Corps. So when you see them, put it in their ear, you know, and ask them, you know, we're concerned. If I lived down there, I'd be really concerned. You know, John, sorry, you're close. When the fire starts, your house goes up first, so.
No, there's a fire break that I put in the last.
All right. Good move.
3 years. So,
Fire-wise.
They bring it in here and let me clean it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that cove area down there, that concerns me with all the debris that's in there. And the fact that somebody just flicks a cigarette out at the wrong time down there, that whole draw could actually go up. Yeah, so that's
What I
why.
love that is all the cedar trees.
So if you get an opportunity, you know, and I wouldn't dog the fire department on it. You really need to talk to McNulty directly if you see him. And he's liable to be at one of our picnics, so there'll be an opportunity. Sometimes when we do burns, the fire department does it and McNulty is down there. Actually, next time we do one, I think I'll post it that McNulty's down there. I will. Hey, and you guys can go down there and say hi and ask him, you know, to express your concern. Express your concern, is what I would say. All right, I think that's it. Well, thank you for attending and picnic. I should have said it at the
Oh,
beginning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Picnic Saturday,
Picnic is Saturday. What time is it, Carl?
6:30.
At 6:30.
Here.
So bring a dish and bring some friends and we'll all be here.